and welcome to Pillow Talk with Angela. I had to start off with my song. I am so happy today because my cousin, my brilliantly talented cousin, is on the show and she's got some really useful information. And she's got so much going on, I'm going to have to read her titles. So, Dr. Sonja Stribling, she's a PhD. So, yeah, she's looks and brains. She's the founder of P3 University, and she's a #1 business and life strategist for women. She's a keynote speaker. She's U.S. Army retired major. She's a television personality. She's an author. In fact, she's got a brand new book, hot off the presses, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But she's here to help us with this amazing topic that we've got going on tonight. And I figure maybe we'll start with that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Sonja Stribling.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here, Angela.
Oh, what do you mean? Every time I follow you on social media, I'm just so proud. I remember, when you were just kind of starting this whole, speaker and teaching these women and training, and you stuck with it and just turned it into something that is just, I don't even have the words to describe how big it is. Really, people have called me and they're like, hey, you should check out, you guys have the same last name. You should check out Dr. Sonja Stribling. Any relation? I'm like,
yeah, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. That's my cousin for sure.
But it's gotta be. Just having a dream, sticking with it, and watching it grow like this. I want to talk all about that a little bit more, but first things first. Right? Let's dive into this topic. And when I thought about this, I thought, who better? And the timing just seems really perfect. So you've been a baller for as long as I can remember. And, strong woman. And a lot of men are a little intimidated, a certain type of men. But I've got to say, even very strong men seem to, be a little intimidated by a lot of strength from women. And so let's say you settle in, you two get married, and it turns out that she's the highest earner. She's the biggest breadwinner in the marriage, relationship, whatever it might be. Let's talk about the balance and how to make it good for both people.
Yes. I love, when you shared with me what the topic was going to be, I'm like, yes. And you didn't even know. This has been a conversation that has been had often. And I even had it with my husband now. So, just to do a backstory, Angela, if I may, I was married before for 18 years and it ended up in a divorce. No harm, no foul, as they say, but it really helped shape who I was. But I'll be honest, I never thought that I would remarry ever. So this is my encore marriage. That's what we use. We use encore marriage. Yes. And that whole conversation that we're about to have right now about getting into a relationship, getting married, and you find out that you may be the breadwinner or the highest earner or what have you. And how do you handle that? And then this whole conversation about, some men being intimidated. And that is a true statement. But there are also, Angela, some men that are very comfortable in their skin, if I can say that. And they could care less who makes more. They can care less about what's happening. They're more here for the support, for the love, and to be in a relationship with you, right? And so I found myself being asked this question quite often. So who's better to have this conversation with than the one and only Angela Stribling? So I'm so thrilled about this conversation.
Thank you so much. And it does come up a lot because, things happen. The men are still kings and they have queens who are out there, really achieving great things. But unfortunately, you find that a lot of women feel that they have to really play small. When they get home, they don't talk a lot about the achievements and they don't really get the support at home that they deserve and certainly would like to have, just because they don't want to rock the boat, make him feel like, hurt his ego or anything like that. So, this is perhaps a whole teaching show, that maybe let's find out some ways that can work. Society kind of did this to us.
Yes, it did.
Right? Just the men are supposed to be the breadwinners, all of that stuff. So let's talk about maybe some signs that, women can kind of start noticing that maybe he's got a problem with this. Because, a lot of times he will be oblivious.
Yeah, I mean, even, remember I was just sharing that time that I had that pause at 10 years of just getting to know who I was. And I had to go through this very conversation, this very thought process. And so as we're sharing this, it will be, I would hope that it's a teaching for someone to glean
Yeah.
from it, whether it's a woman or a man. And it could be vice versa, but right now we're talking about when she finds out she's a breadwinner. And you said I've been a baller this whole since we've known each other. But I was just on this pathway of figuring out who I was, Angela, and what I really wanted to do. And I realized that I had run into my purpose, or my purpose found me.
Mhm.
And it gave me the opportunity, let's say over the last 3 years, to have a $28 million company. This was before my husband came, mind you, right before he was my husband. And I had to really think about, it wasn't about, hey, I'm this person, I'm a boss, I don't need a man. Let me go ahead and dismiss that thought of I don't need a man, because I did want a partner. I wanted the right man, perfect for me in the relationship. And so some of the questions, Angela, I went on the journey of asking myself even before I got in the relationship is, one, whoever I get into this relationship with, is he going to be okay with who I am right now and the woman that I'm growing into? Right? Some folks thought you're already there. I'm like, no, I'm still growing into this woman I was being created to be. One, is
Mhm.
he going to be okay? So the conversations with my husband now was, hey, this is what my goals are. This is what my focus is. Is that something that you believe aligns with who you are? Now, I was listening for those things, what matched, but I was also listening to the things he didn't say.
Mm.
Like those things like, hey, can you work from home? I mean, are you going to work from home? Are you going to be out there traveling? And Angela, can I share with you that one question I asked was a telltale sign that I believe he was the one for me? Can I share it with you?
Yes, please.
It it was that question of, hey, babe, if there is an opportunity for me to invest, let's say, in most people will say spend, I use the word invest, $100,000. Is your expectation for me to run it by you first? Is your expectation for me to ask for your permission? What would be your expectation if I had this idea that I want to invest even more in my business? Now, Angela, let's be real. Most men would have been, what? And if he didn't understand entrepreneurship or business, he may have been like, what? No, I expect for you to talk to me about it. Like, we got to make this, this decision together. Guess what he said? And I know some men out there listening right now, he's like, oh, he shouldn't have done that. He said, that's not my money. That's yours.
Mm. Wow.
What?
What?
What? He said, yeah, we're together. We were dating. I don't even think we were engaged yet. He said,
Wow.
that's yours. I saw what you were doing when I got here. I'm not
Mhm.
coming in here to dictate what you do with your company, with your money, and all of that. Angela, I had the utmost respect for him at that moment because
It
before,
volumes, volumes to his character. He was there for the right reasons.
oh yeah. Now I had asked that question before to some other people. Yes, I have the expectation for you to ask me. I think that's a lot. I want to know what you're doing with it. We need to sit down and talk about it. And I'm thinking to myself, but I had this before you came. I could
Right.
see now if it was our money was together,
Right.
right?
That's a
And we
different
do have some
conversation.
things together. But you knew I was in this space before, and I know, and sometimes I get into relationships with men where we are not where we're going. And I made sure, at least I was attempting, and my prayer was, please, partner and send someone with me can see where I'm going, not just where I am. And they want to go with me, or they can do their own thing, but we become a partner and not someone trying to dictate what I do in my life.
Yes, because that's true partnership. That's what we want. That's what we all want. You want someone on this journey together as a partner, not as a dictator, not as someone who's trying to take advantage of you. And I mean, you and I have had conversations when we were both
Yes.
single and saying these prayers, and now
Mhm.
we're married ladies now. And God is good. Oh, okay, we'll talk later. But oh my God,
Okay, okay,
I am
okay, okay.
so happy. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, we got married and I know, remember all those, it's like, oh, I'm kissing
Yes.
the frogs.
A lot of frogs
For
get
my
warts and all of that stuff.
person. It does. I mean, all the things that you were saying, I mean, being intentional just about becoming the person that God created you to be. And the rest is, to help you on that path, not to derail you. and I found my person. I think that's the most important thing because I do believe in love and I do believe in partnership. And to stay on topic, I think, we're not in a situation like that. I'm not the he's far way beyond me.
I
But
was there before. I was there before, though. I was there
you
before.
were there
And
before.
it was not a good, yeah, it was not a good feeling. It was everything that I did. And I did have businesses on the side. I had to have the conversation, but it was different. I mean, we got married at a very young age when I was married for 18 years
Yeah.
before. And we were pretty much raised in the tradition of, your husband is head. I'm not disputing that at all. I am not disputing that.
Really,
However, I do believe there's a level of partnership that comes, and some people have taken that to a whole nother level. You can't do it. And I've met when I had the opportunity to coach and train them, 500,000 women. And when I tell you a percentage of them had that frustration and that conversation about, well, I can't do this because I got to talk to him first, and it's the money in the household. Now, the difference that I know if you're not the working woman per se, right? And it's all his. I get that, but when you're
that's
both
different.
working toward a goal and a dream and a career, it's a little different. And I found that some they made more income than their spouse, and they still had that conversation. And my heart goes out to that because I know what that was like. And I said, I don't want to go back there. And it wasn't this whole, journey of you don't need a man. It was I want to plan for this because I know God gave us vision. He gave us a vision before these men came into our lives. And how
Right.
dare someone come in and try to take that away? Like, no, he gave it to me. Can I share it with you? And if you're okay with it, great. If not, this is probably not the right match. And so some of the things to
There you
look at is having the conversation. What
Yeah.
do they see for themselves? And what can you see of how we can help each other versus you having to give me permission to do a thing?
Right, exactly. And I love that you said that you don't dispute the whole, the man is the household and a leader and all that, because I do believe that. I mean, I'm by no means submissive in any way. I mean, well, I won't say it in any
Good.
way. I mean, in some
Yeah, I
ways,
know what you mean.
I love for him to be the lead. I support that. And in other ways, he supports me and supports,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of leadership that I
Yeah.
think the woman has. But I'm strong. I'm strong
Exactly.
that I'm strong, and that is so good. And I think, I love the way that you're answering this, just, finding that balance, that it doesn't come down to who's really making the most money. It's
Right.
the other things, and if those are in place, like in a relationship where it's kind of lopsided, maybe she's making a
Hmm.
lot more than him.
Yes.
Like, you're like, "Yes, I've lived it."
Yeah.
Hello. I mean, but what are some of the ways that, maybe women have not kind of figured out some
Mhm.
ways to make it a little more balanced, or maybe that the men in the relationship
Yeah.
also, if there are some
Yeah.
things that you can kind of say to the couples who are going through this, what would that be?
Have a conversation first. It's all about communication. And what I see sometimes that we don't have that. And one of the things I said before, Angela, that some people really push back on is more than love. Just be real. That's cute when I was in my 20s. It
Right.
was even cuter when I was in my 30s. Man, I'm in my 50s now. And so love is great. We got to have, or we should desire more than love. Where's the partnership? Where's the friendship? Can we communicate about everything? And that's one of the vows I told my husband. I said, if I'm thinking about something, especially in business or finances, I'm going to bring it to you, but I'm not coming to you for support per se. Excuse me. I'm not coming to you for permission. I'm coming to you for support. Like slavery is over, sir. I'm sorry. It should be at least, especially in the household. And so I'm
Thank you.
looking for the partnership and just asking the women to really sit down and have the conversation with the person, even now, if you've been together for a while, and really coming to an agreement of how we're going to do this so it's a win-win for both of us. And it's not about, okay, I make much more than my husband, but how do I help him and ensure he feels valuable in the relationship,
Mhm.
right? How does he feel? How do I help him feel needed? And he doesn't need the help. One thing I love about this, when you get the right man for you, they come very comfortable in their own skin. They're not
Yes.
worried wanting you to validate who they are and all of that. He is very comfortable. He does not care. His friends have said some things or what have you. It's like, what? He's very comfortable. And when I saw that, because I know it could be a lot dealing with us, right?
Yeah.
And people are
Exactly.
in, yeah, people are having conversations about who Angela Stribling is. Man, are you sure? You know, can you handle how powerful she is? You're like, what are you talking about? She's still a woman at the end of the day. We
Thank
are,
you.
honestly, if I could say, I'm a little girl. I want to sit in daddy's lap and like, just tell me it's
Mhm.
going to be okay.
That's right. It doesn't matter what you make. It does not
Yes.
matter. When you're at home, it's like, this is us. The
Uh,
key words that you've said, the partnership, the communication. I want you to be the best that you can
yes.
be on this journey. And I think that my role in my husband's life is to be the best partner that I could
Yes.
be for him, to support him,
Yes.
however I can. And he does the same for me. I think that's
Absolutely.
really the bottom line. But it does get really murky, in
Mhm.
relationships again when, the woman, and again, it's society who,
Yes.
and, traditionally women are
Yes.
supposed to be, at home and
Cooking.
not working nearly as much, not as smart, as the
Yes.
hubby. And, but,
Yes.
head of the house that's not what the head of the house means.
Right, right. And so I'll share with you that one of the conversations we had early on is does do you feel uncomfortable in this space with me? And one of the things that I really admired about him, he said, I thought being with, you or someone like you, that I would have to make a whole lot of shifts and changes. He said, but you've made this so simple where you're still Sonia. At the end of the day, I may be Dr. Sonia to everybody else, but I'm still Sonia. I still am the mother of 3 children and a bonus son. I'm
Mm,
still his wife. I'm still the aunties and the sister, the little sister to everyone else. And he said, I just love, and that is so encouraging when your husband says, I just love who you are in my life and who you are to other people. And people are always saying, Sean, thank you for sharing your wife. Like, first time I heard that, I was like, what? I get so
wow.
emotional thinking about it because that is big. And I wish that for every woman that is in a relationship or looking for the love or the partner that she can grow old with, that they understand who she is and what she's been called to do. And it's not about the money you make. How can you all coexist in one household and
Mm,
still be one and not let society and social media and everyone tell you how it's supposed to be? That right there, I think, has really scarred our
yeah,
relationships as far as couples out there from back in the day to where we are now. There's a new era of us, and it's
I
still
agree.
healthy for us too.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it messes up relationships when, you said something that's so key that, he loves who you are. And that's the person he fell in love with before you two got married. And so oftentimes, the woman especially will start changing and not speaking up and not being confident and just changing who she is. And she's somebody completely different. She's
Yeah.
turned into what she thinks she's supposed to be as now the wife. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. You are that person, but it's up to you to keep that person alive. It's up to
Yes.
you, like it's up to me to keep Angela in this relationship, not to let it morph into some subservient, little lost person because it's easy to get lost in a
Yeah.
relationship, in a marriage especially. It's easy,
Mhm.
especially for a woman, to just lose yourself.
You
And
know, I yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say years down the road, you look back and you're like, "I don't have that spark. I don't I used to love to do this. Why am I not doing that anymore?" Well, you gotta consistently check in and, have those wellness checks, right? With
Oh,
yourself and
yeah.
and do the things you need to do to keep that going.
Absolutely, and just having that, you brought up something, and I still because it's still like we're newlyweds, but we're like
Yeah,
best friends. I feel
yeah,
like I didn't just start over. I felt like he's getting the best version of me, and I'm getting the best version of him. We're still learning each other, but we have so much fun. We dated years before we got married, and it was like, oh,
oh,
it's like we've been married for 20 plus years. I laugh sometimes
love
because
that.
it's the mature version of ourselves that we're
Yeah.
bringing to the forefront, and we're not allowing, again, society and the church and
Mhm.
everybody dictate how this is supposed
Relatives,
to be.
anybody. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, let's not even go there. That's a whole nother episode by
I
itself, right?
know, but it's so good though. I love the fact that you are a full grown woman.
Yes,
And your
yes,
husband seems like, I haven't met him, but it
yes,
seems like he's very mature and just
yes,
and you are a newlywed. I am too. We just
yes.
got married in 22. And
Wow.
so it's still fresh, new, but it's wonderful. And I'm so happy for you. And as I've said, I'm just really proud of you. Let's talk about your book.
Yes,
Yay!
yes. It's a long
Oh my
time coming.
gosh. Okay, from the
Yes.
battlefield to the boardroom, the infinite
Mhm.
desire to win, a woman's journey to infinite success in life, business, and career. That's what we all want.
Yes, that is 5 years in the making. It is really in a space and place, and when I say battlefield, because I'm 21 years military, right? And my husband's like, he even asked, he said, "What's gonna cover's gonna look like?" And we portray this cover of, half of me is the warrior that I am, the warrior inside, right? And then the other side is the boardroom. And when I say battlefield, Angela, a battlefield is not like the physical ground. I've had 3 combat tours, right? And so it wasn't that the battlefield, what I'm saying here, it could be the battlefield relationships, like we were talking. It could be the battlefield of life. It's the things, I had a child at 15 years old. I was raped and left for dead at 17. I was married for 18 years, went through, this whole mental stability and the downfall of my emotional being, and really didn't want to be here anymore. That was my battlefield, all the things that
Yeah,
happened to me in my life. And the
yeah,
boardroom came this place, not a corporate boardroom that we know all too well, but it was the boardroom is a place where you're successful. It's a place where you decide your level of success. You get to decide your life and your lifestyle, whether it's in your career, in your life, or even in your business. And so when I say battlefield to the boardroom is where you're coming from in your life and really where you want to be in emotional state of mind.
yeah.
And so I'm just so excited about this book and the launch of it.
You are so qualified. I mean, and I forget about all these things that you've been through and have gotten through to the other side. I mean, not to even mention, your career as a major in the army. I mean, that in itself is just amazing. I don't even really. I mean, kudos. I don't take any of it
Mhm.
lightly, and I
Mhm.
love that you take all the things you've learned
Mhm.
from, that you've grown from, that you've gotten through, and that you're transparent. You talk about how vulnerable you were, and there are so many
Mhm.
people who have gone to the edge and felt like, you know what, this is too much. I might not I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but then once you discover that, okay, I'm here for a reason and I do have a purpose, and then leaning into that and like you do and writing about it, I can't wait to read your book.
Yeah, I know. It is just I sit back, it's all so real of it happening and going on book tour and TV interviews and all of that. And so it is just a testament of going through a thing, whether it's a broken relationship or, neglect or abuse or whatever in our past life, we still have the opportunity to choose, decide what type of life and lifestyle we want. And your partner is important, if I can say that. I don't think, honestly, and I'll say this just wholeheartedly, I don't think I would have written such an impactful book. It's not about my life. It's the things I learned and the lessons that I learned from the divorce and childhood and in being a successful business owner and being able to do that. Because I honestly, Angela, I never thought I would be able to do it as a single woman. I just didn't. Like that's what society told me. But I took 10
Mm,
years to get to know who I was. And I
yeah.
began to like her a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That part.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And then this is what we get, and I get to share it with so many women around the world, whether it's in their life, their relationship, their career. But it's this there's an opportunity for us to always be better. And I always believe this, and I'll say this if I can say this. There's so much more for us to be not just strong, but for us to honestly be powerful. And strong women are just surviving, which is okay, right? But you can't stay there. It's now more about being powerful because powerful women are thriving. So when the book released on May 7th, it was like, all hands on deck, ladies, let's go in. It's time for us to make a shift wherever you are right now and where you want to be. Here's an opportunity. Just allow me to share my life journey of how I've been able to do a thing. And it's not all about me, it's about how many other women can we help along the way.
That is so awesome. Book is out now. You can get it on Amazon.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And just Google
Yeah.
it. You see everything right there. So that's the name of the book. Go ahead and get the book. You see the author right there. She's absolutely beautiful. You're so amazing. Thank you for spending
Thank
time with
you.
us. This has been so
Thank you for
inspiring.
having
And
me.
I love that. Oh, of course. I mean, this is such a great topic, and I'm glad that you're on the show. You
Thank you.
definitely shared. All the
And
best to you. I'm
thank
going to get
you
off.
for being an example for so many women out there. I know they're encouraged by you and everything that you do. Smart, beauty, brains, all of that. So thank you, Angela, for
Thank
being who you
you.
are and staying on this pathway for Pillow Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I love this show so much. Do you know it's 10 years?
No,
This
I
is
did.
10 years. Time is flying. It's our
Yes.
10-year anniversary, and I'm so
Yes.
proud of that. Just like,
Yes.
and I know we're saying goodbye, but I remember when you had this intention of doing a television show, and then all of a sudden, the next time I turn around, it's your TV show. You know, it's just one example. I'm sure you're talking about that in the book, but just, just setting a goal and achieving it, so I can't say how many ways that I'm proud of you, but just keep going and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Dr. Sonja Stribling here on Pillow Talk with Angela. Make sure you support her and you can hear this show as well as see it. It's going to be everywhere on social media, but also on Sirius XM channel 141. That'll be on Monday night at 10 p.m. On Sunday night, it'll be at midnight on WHUR, on Jam 98, B Spire TV, and also AAPRC. So we're syndicated. So just check your public broadcasting station in your city. All right, here we go. Dr. Sonja Stribling. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Love you, cousin.
Thank you. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.